Yo, this is Nova Trifecta. I am Jimmy Fedora, aka Alias.
Mang Negro, what's good?
Yo, what's up? Nova Trifecta. This is Big Boy Troy, aka Kendall.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, fellas? What's good in the hood? Huh?
Chilling, man. Just watching all this. It's a lot of content coming out, man.
A
There's
lot of content.
a lot of content coming out. Judas and the Black Messiah, which we're gonna touch on today. We got Malcolm and Marie, which I watched last night, and it's phenomenal. I loved it. I like arguing with girls though, so I get it. All this Marvel content and Star Wars content that's coming. It's good, man. It's
Yeah,
good.
so you're gonna be seeing us a lot more, doing more pods, more recaps. Shot don't like calling them reviews.
Yes,
Don't like calling them
discussion.
discussions and recaps. So we're gonna be
Yes.
doing a whole lot more of those bad boys.
Yes. Yes.
But let's get into it. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Directed by Shaka King.
Shaka King. What a dope name.
Dope.
What a dope name. And so let's get into some of the cast that's in this movie.
Okay, we got Daniel Kaluuya, who's playing Fred Hampton, the one and only. Got Lakeith Stanfield, who's playing William O'Neill. Dominique Fishback, that's Deborah Johnson. We got the rest of the cast is kind of. I tell you who I didn't recognize is Martin Sheen. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. Well, I do because they had his face all,
Well,
look completely different way, and I recognized the voice, but I could not place who he was until I looked up the cast.
yeah, because it was bothering me too. Because I'm like, who is that? I had to pause the movie to look up, who he is,
Yeah,
who he was rather.
yeah, but we got the main characters.
Well, I do want to give because Jesse Plemons is in a lot of stuff too.
Jesse Plemons, who
So I want to
reminds
give
me
him
of Seymour Hopkins.
Yeah, and Ashton Sanders, he up and coming. You starting to see him in a whole lot of stuff. So
But he done played in some good stuff. He was in Moonlight.
Yeah, he was in the
He was in
Equalizer too.
the Equalizer 2.
So he
Got Algie Smith. I'm not sure, what other content pieces he's played in, but he did a real good job in this movie.
he dang sure did.
Dominique Thorne, who played Judy Harmon, and I thought she was phenomenal in the movie. She was about it.
About it. Well, let's get into it. So
And the surprise guest, L'Oreal.
L'Oreal killed it.
He did. He done a real good job with the little bit that he had. He done a real good job. Almost recognizable to a degree.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
All right. The movie opens up, it's the late 1960s. We see Lakeith Stanfield character, William O'Neill. He goes, and it was a brilliant little scheme that he had going on.
Dangerous.
But brilliant. He's posing as an FBI agent. And he tells him, hey, I need the keys. You stole the car, even though it's not a stolen car. And he shows him a fake badge. And the guys quickly recognize when the hat fall off that he ain't an FBI agent. He runs, gets away, but he doesn't get away. He ends up getting pulled over by the police. And this is where he runs into, Special Agent Roy Mitchell, played by Jesse Plemons. And, he's telling them, hey, you want to go to jail? Or I need you to infiltrate, the Black Panther Party. So what you think about this little interaction that they had, the way the movie opened up?
Well, that gets us set off on the turn of events that we got going for the movie here. And it started off, fairly quick, quicker than I thought it was going to get right into it. And, next thing we knew after he had the chat with Roy Mitchell, he was already in the Black Panthers organization. So, and his job was to get close to Fred Hampton, so we can get all the information on him we need to get, so they can assassinate him, take him out, because they didn't want a Black Messiah being, coming from the ashes. They'd already taken out, People had already taken out Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and so Fred Hampton was going to be that next political figure that was galvanizing all oppressed people, not just blacks, all oppressed people, and they didn't want that.
Yeah, it opened up with him teaching class and teaching some of the ideologies of the Black Panther Party. Kendall, what you thought about the beginning of the movie when it opened up with Fred teaching everything and old boy infiltrating the Black Panther Party?
Man, I thought it was a good movie first and foremost, but I think it was eye-opening for people that did not, like myself, like I've not really done a whole lot of research and didn't know a whole lot about the, I guess the ideology or the like what the Black Panther Party stood for, like what they were teaching or what they were doing. So it helped me to understand a little bit. I thought it was good. I like the scene. I thought, he was, teaching and stuff like that. I was just impressed with the whole movie. I even looked it up, like I even Googled it to see how close that was to really how it all like went down, and like what he was teaching, was that really the stuff that they taught and stuff like that. And it was a lot of it was pretty spot on. Like the what little clips you saw was really the what they did. They taught young men and women a different way about things, and kind of gave them an idea of that that wasn't, I guess, whitewashed, so to speak.
Yeah. And Fred Hampton could
he had a way with words, man.
He had a way with words, and he didn't think he was a poet, but he was.
One of the best lines I thought in that movie was that that girl, when he done his first speech, when she came up to him and said that you're, just so you know, you are a poet.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good line because of how persuasive and how powerful his words were.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good line.
And he was a freestyle poet. He didn't prepare those things he said. He just got up there and spoke from his heart, and he said what he thought the people needed to hear. What he thought needed to be said to galvanize people and bring people together to join the cause that they had. And he was brilliant at it. He was absolutely brilliant. And I respected so much the calmness that he approached every situation with. That's why later on in the movie, you'll see a scene where he got emotional. And I almost was shocked to a degree that he was getting emotional, because he was just so calm with everything. I don't care if he was walking in a room full of gangsters, if he was walking in a room full of, perceived racist. When he walked in, he had the same level of calmness and confidence, and all he was out to do was galvanize people. All he was out to do was to bring people, in with them. Imagine what we could do. We could heal this entire city if we put your resources together, if we put the political views and the political prowess of the Black Panthers, if we can combine that, man, we could do some wonders in this community. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
It was so crazy, man. His words and the way he done stuff was so powerful. Like, I was amazed that it didn't matter what party or what group of people he was speaking to, whether they were flying rebel flags or was a room full of black guys with AKs everywhere. He had the same level of confidence, swagger, and spoke the same way in front of those people as he did the other people. I was blown away. Like, I could not imagine having that much confidence to me. I stand for this right here, and I know that group of people, they don't like what I stand for, but yet I'm gonna walk in there and persuade those people to come with me. That's crazy.
And I mean, Daniel Kaluuya's performance was just, halfway through the movie, I called Jimmy Fedora here. I called him, and I was, questioning whether or not it was one of the greatest performances that I've ever seen. Not just, I think they should just, go ahead and give him the Academy Award for this year already. But I'm questioning, is it one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie? Because I was blown away at his performance.
And me too. I mean, just the way he changed his voice with with him being a Brit. I mean, it was amazing. But yeah, let's get back to the movie. You know what he was doing? He was forming alliances, you know, with gang members and different types of groups. You know, militia groups. I forgot what was the name of the group that he went in there with the rebel flag.
I can't.
What about the group where he went in there and they had all the guns?
The Crowns.
The Crowns.
The Crowns. The Stones? Was it the Stones that had the rebel flag? Because they talked about the Crowns and the Stones.
Okay, it could have been the Stones then. Okay, yeah. Well, that scene that he went in there with the Crowns, just his composure. Yeah. You know, when the dude
just from the very beginning of that scene when they, you know, looked through the peephole to see who it was, and he turned around and said Fred Hampton from the Black Panther Party. Like he was the calmness and the swagger and the confidence was off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. But and see, like I said, it's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about Fred Hampton. You know, I've always heard about the Rainbow Coalition, but I didn't know exactly what it was.
Yeah,
and you know, when you think Black Panther Party, you think, you know, hey, they don't like white people at all. You know, and this Illinois chapter that Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred there was a multiracial, you know, coalition. It was oppressed people. It was white people. It was people of color. It was mixed. So it was different type of people that he was trying to string together because they was tired of police brutality. Funny that the same thing is going on now. So that's why that message is still, you know, relevant.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with both of you, like before Juicy told me about the movie and I started looking up everything about it, I thought the same thing about the Black Panther Party. I really did think the Black Panther Party was kind of the black man's KKK, to be honest. To be honest with our viewers, to be honest with everybody. I guess it shows you how little I did know about them.
But you know what? That's the picture, and that's the picture that they tried to paint. And you know, you see, you heard what the director, you know, I forgot what his name was, but what he was saying was
Shaka King.
Yeah, not Shaka King, not the director. I'm talking about the guy that
was helping Billy O'Neill.
Yeah,
you talking about J. Edgar Hoover?
Not J. Edgar Hoover.
No,
Jesse Plemons' character.
Roy Mitchell.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roy Mitchell kept saying,
they were one and the same.
Yeah. Roy Mitchell kept saying, hey, the KKK and the Black Panther Party is all the same thing.
Yeah. And I thought it was, I liked the way that he was trying to, you know, he was trying to feel William O'Neill out to see just how much he cares about, you know, the plight of Black America and, you know, trying to galvanize Black people. And like when he first met him, he asked him, were you upset at the Martin Luther King assassination? Were you upset with the Malcolm X assassination? You know, and he kept on trying to feel him out just to see how much he really cares. And I tell you, Daniel Kaluuya said something on the Breakfast Club that, you know, it is still true to this day, is that it shows you the power of not caring. This is the reason why you need to care.
Yeah.
What's going on, but so you won't do things like this, because if you don't care, this is the things that could happen.
Exactly.
I mean, I think Mr. O'Neill was, you know, conflicted throughout the movie, but then he kept on, you know, after Fred Hampton was assassinated, he kept on. So I mean, I don't know.
And so, like, you know, as the movie goes along, you know, the government's starting to see this man, you know, getting the people together. And of course, with the information from O'Neill, they're able to put Fred in jail for some bullshit. If I'm not mistaken,
$70 worth of ice cream.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it was 2 to 5 that he was supposed to serve. Which is nuts if you think about it. And so just the perseverance, you know, that the strength that he showed while he was in jail, and the strength of the Black Panther Party to continue, because as treacherous as O'Neill was, he began to rise in the ranks of the Black Panther Party, and he was giving off the facade that he cared. Yeah. But it showed you how scared he really was. Just like the scene where they had George Sams, that's his name. George Sams and he talked about how he killed that rat in the bottom of the ocean. And then O'Neal was trying to act like, he was nervous.
I'd have killed her. I'd have beat him too.
He really was nervous that was going to happen to him. So he was driven by fear the whole movie. Of course, he was Judas in the movie. So, that's a scumbag. That's a scumbag right there, man.
Yeah, man. But to be honest with you, he had questionable character from the very beginning, and he had it until he passed away. He's not somebody who, you didn't know what was going on. You knew what was going on. You saw him at the beginning of the movie. He was stealing people's cars, stealing people's cars. So, he just was a guy with no character from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And they had to, Roy Mitchell done his due diligence in finding out just how low of character that William O'Neal had, and once he figured out that he had low character, he was like, okay, we can get this guy to do anything we need him to do.
Yeah, and I like this movie a lot because it's not a movie. It's not like one of those slave movies or those timepieces where it's about despair and it just gives you such a hopeless feeling after you watch some of those timepieces. This is about, strength, immobilization, and it's just showing the power of Black people, what we can do, or power of people, not just Black people, the power.
Yeah, people. Power of people, man.
When we can work together. It wasn't just Black people getting ran over in the movie. They were shooting back in this one.
Yeah.
So the scene, where they tried to burn the headquarters down, the shootout between some of the Black Panther Party and some of the police, it shows you how big of a coward O'Neal was, because he went out the back door, took off his hat, and didn't want to be the rat no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys something. Do you think the same result? I'm not saying that they would get shot. Do you think that if a Black guy today would try to do what Martin Luther King, what Malcolm X, what Fred Hampton, do you think it would be the same result? They'd find a way to put him in prison or kill him on? If he tried to start joining groups of people and open their eyes?
Today is I think that they find another way to do it. Like they killed Kaepernick's image, and kicked him out of the league, and took his job away from him. And
they cancel. It's a cancel culture. They just cancel.
Yeah. They'll
take you off of social media. And
so I think it's a different version of things to take down anybody who shows oppressed people any kind of leadership.
Just like Trump, they took him off of all platforms, so he couldn't keep on running his mouth and stuff like that. I think, and how they done Kaepernick, I think they would do the same thing. I've thought a lot about, since watching this movie, would that be the same result? And I don't think they would be put in prison. I don't think they would be killed. I think they would get canceled to the point where you couldn't find them on social media, because social media would ban them. YouTube would ban them. They would just cancel them. They would cancel them, and they would paint a picture, much like they're doing now. Politics is painting a picture to try to, if you think about it, look how divided we are as a nation. Look how much racial stuff starting to come back to the forefront of everything,
Yeah.
So
shortly after that, Fred, he gets out of jail, and he learns that he's having a kid, happy time for him, and it's such a crazy time. And what I didn't know was Fred was as young as he was.
Yeah.
Fred was these was 21, 22-year-old kids. And I was talking to Shad Magnegro earlier about it. Why did these fellas look so old, in those times? And what was your response to that, Shad?
Well, well, for one, they were under a lot more stress than we are. That may be the biggest thing, is that they had to grow up faster than, look, I'm 34, you're 31. Big boy Troy Kendall is 34 with me. You know, we still play video games and watch Marvel movies, talk comic books all day long. So it's
Speak
just
for yourself. I have kids and a wife.
Yeah, well, that's just responsibilities. That doesn't mean you. So, but it.
I don't have to stress. But it's trying just to bring communities together. Exactly.
Well, it's just a different atmosphere now. They so stress is probably one reason why they looked older, but they also, you know, they carried themselves a different way than we do now. Like the way they dress, they're in collared shirts and khaki pants and belts and dress shoes and stuff when they're 19, 20, 21 years old. Well, we don't dress like that at 19 now, you know, and then they got the long sideburns, the thick mustache and you know, the afros and everything like that. So they looked 45 when they were 21. You know, and we get in our 30s and we still look like we're in our late teens now. So it's just a different atmosphere and everything when it comes to that.
That's true.
But it is shocking that Fred Hampton was that young and he'd already, you know, been given that high of a rank in the Black Panther Party. You know, that just shows you what kind of character he had. And what kind of voice he was and the impact that he had in his short 21 years that he was able to, you know, already be chairman.
And another thing what I wanted to talk about after Jimmy and Jake Winters murders, that speech that he gave, I am a revolutionary speech. Could you? And that might have been a speech that won him the Oscar. So I want you to kind of talk about that scene, how it made you feel, the performance of that scene. Just go ahead and, you know, take that away.
Well, that's the scene that made me call you and say, you know, I'm watching something special. You know, you watch movies and, you know, you see good performances all the time and stuff, but sometimes you watch them and it's like, I'm watching something that I hadn't seen before. And that's how I felt when I was watching that. I felt powerful. I felt inspired to do something, to create some kind of change. And I did. I just felt like it was a unique performance. I felt like I was watching a real speaker.
Yeah.
Like not somebody acting as a speaker. I felt like I was watching a real speaker. And he was. He had people of all walks of life in there, and you saw the crowns in there, and you saw the white guys that you know were flying the Confederate flag earlier in there. Everybody was welcoming him back, and he just had a way with words, man. He was a passionate guy, and he had a way with words.
Yeah, I agree.
That speech was phenomenal.
And I think that's pretty.
You can kill a freedom fighter, but you can't kill freedom. You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution.
Yeah,
he was just. I mean, and again, the performance by Daniel Kaluuya, can't say enough about it. It just was phenomenal.
He was eating, and so what happens is they ended up finding a way to send Fred back to jail, and Hoover calls in and he's like, hey, jail is what made Huey Newton a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know, we don't.
He didn't want to make him. He didn't want to turn him into a martyr.
Exactly. We don't want to make him bigger. We don't want to turn him to a bigger symbol. So we need to take him out. And so what happens is they get William O'Neill, and that scene. That's the scene that I wanted to talk to you about. The scene between William O'Neill and the FBI director. When he had to tell him, because the whole movie, he was coming off like he cared about William O'Neill to a certain degree. You get what I'm saying? He was giving him that facade of feeding him, taking him out, extracting information. And that was a point in the film where he had to be real cold to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To tell him, hey, you either going to do this or they're going to find out you a fucking rat.
Yeah.
That scene right there between
Stanfield and Plemons. That was a cold-blooded scene.
That was a cold-blooded scene between him and Jesse Plemons. And so when he showed him, you know, hey, this the sedative, this the drug that you're gonna have to give Fred so we can take him out. And he didn't want to do it, but I mean he kind of had to. And so
he wasn't giving Fred a drug.
No. Yes, he was. Oh, William O'Neill gave him that sedative.
What? Oh, I thought William O'Neill wanted him to draw up a blueprint of Fred's house.
William O'Neill.
I mean, that's what Roy Mitchell wanted William O'Neill to draw up a blueprint of Fred's house.
And so you don't know what. So the vial that Lil Rel's character gave him was drugs.
I know that, but I thought he was wanting him to use that on Roy Mitchell, the FBI director. No. I thought he was wanting him to poison. He wasn't wanting him to poison Fred.
Yeah, that was for Fred.
Was it?
Yeah, he gave Fred the drugs. You know, when he came in there, he was like, "You need something to drink? Because I'm thirsty too."
Sure did. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So that's why. Yeah, that's why.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So he had to give Fred the drugs. He drugged Fred, and so that's why we might as well get that fateful night. He did draw him a blueprint to get to the house, and the police came, and it was a big shootout. That I think they fired off 90 plus shots, and the Black Panther Party only
99. It said they fired the police shot off 99 shots, and the Black Panther shot back once. And they got charged with all kind of things.
And so that's why Chairman Fred wouldn't wake up when they were shaking him and stuff like that, is because William O'Neill drugged him.
Yeah, I was tripping.
And so that's the most cutthroat, dirty. It's Judas. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a perfect, like that goes to the title of the movie, Judas and the Black Messiah. He was, the ultimate, Judas. And so that's how Fred, kind of went out, which was so unfortunate, because could you imagine what he could have done had he been alive?
Well, they knew it. That's why they wanted to take him out.
Yeah, that's why they wanted to take him out. They knew it.
They knew what kind of leader he was.
And 25 days after that, he had Fred Hampton Jr., which is crazy. You know, they killed that man, and I mean, that's just.
It was cold-blooded too. It was a cold-blooded murder.
Cold-blooded murder, but it just that scene was the toughest to watch out of the movie.
Oh, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch, especially because I was scared. I didn't know what they were going to do to Deborah.
Yeah,
that's what was real scary. I knew what was going to happen to Fred, unfortunately, but I didn't know what was going to happen to Deborah. And he put that gun on her stomach.
Yeah,
it was, that was tough. That was tough to watch.
All right, well, we are going to wrap it up. I will say that movie was incredible. Daniel Kaluuya should get an Oscar nomination. Lakeith Stanfield should get a supporting nomination. It should be nominated for Best Film. That's how I feel about it. What about you?
Absolutely think Daniel Kaluuya should get the Oscar for Best Actor. I don't know about supporting actor. We'll see about. But I definitely think that he should be a shoe-in for the Academy Award for Best Actor after that performance. I mean, I'm questioning whether or not it's like one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Period. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not questioning it. It is. That's one of the best performances I've ever seen.
That was incredible.
It's an extremely compelling performance, and I know it's got to take those guys a while to get out of that zone.
Yeah.
Once they take themselves and put themselves in somebody else's shoes and become someone else, I know it's got to take them a long time to get out of that.
Well, that's what Daniel Kaluuya said. Daniel Kaluuya said in the interview that he prior to the pandemic, that was the first time that he sat down in like 5 years. And he was like, he still had some of those characters with him.
Yeah.
Even the character from Get Out. So he said he kind of had to sit down, detox from that, and kind of move on from that. And so
Michael B. Jordan said the same thing about, Killmonger, because he spent a lot of time by himself, and he had to make himself feel isolated and kind of angry at the world. And it's got to take those guys a long time to come out of that, man. That's as though, you can watch something. And, I've always said this stuff that, you can watch things on TV and it can put you in a weird mood.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch horror movies and stuff like that, because it put me in a weird vibe like that. So you can watch, and it'll take you a while to get out of it.
Yeah.
It does for me anyway. So I could only imagine, like, being a method actor like that and getting yourself all wrapped in somebody else's life. And you got to live like them. You got to eat like them. You got to walk like them. You got to think like them in order to play the role the best that you can play it. So
exactly. Well, we highly recommend it. Before I get out of here, I want to give it a rating. Hey, before we do, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Nova Trifecta. You can go and follow us on Facebook. But yeah, let's give out some ratings. So, Shad, if you had to rate this movie
10.
Okay. And then we have it, people. We have a 10 on the board, which constitutes it as a classic.
Yeah.
So this is a classic film, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's an instant classic to me. I was blown away while I was watching it, and I've watched it 3 times since.
I have to second that. It gave me, I have a funny feeling about classics halfway through the movie. When I'm halfway through the movie and I can go, this is a classic, then it's a classic. And they stuck the landing, everything. So it's a 10 for me too. It kind of gave me that feeling that I was watching when I was watching Bohemian Rhapsody, like halfway through. Hey, this is a fucking classic. So this is a 10 as well. I love timepieces. I love real events, actual events, and I love that we can put Fred in a light and give light to the Black Panther Party that it should have, rather than the stigma of it being a hate group. When it acted, it wasn't. They just
it wasn't a hate group.
Tired of oppression from police. So
and we knew that. We knew that the Black Panther Party wasn't a hate group. But now we'll say what they done to that guy, what they done to that rat was cold blooded.
Oh, they didn't play.
No, they didn't play. That was cold blooded. Yeah. But they weren't. Black Panthers were not hate group like that. No comparison to the KKK.
Yeah. So again, like, comment, subscribe to Nova Trifecta. You know what I mean? I am Jimmy Fedora. This is Mac Negro. And we are out, baby.
Peace.